Hello, everybody. My name's Margaret. Welcome to my channel. You're on Booktube, and today is Wednesday, and we would usually be doing a Wednesday wrap-up of books read, but we're going to be doing AuthorTube content, so more of a Writer Wednesday this time. So, just to let you know in case you're one or the other side of my audiences. I'll be sharing what writing progress I've made, both this November for NaNoWriMo 2023, as well as a little bit of process questions, just sort of reflecting on writing process and looking for other people, whether that works for them, that doesn't work for them, or if you've got insights to share. I will also be talking about this in my newsletter, though, so I just wanted to highlight that for anyone. I send these out about once a month, and so it might not have been on your radar, but I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth into my writing progress and process in the newsletter, so that is out there if anyone is interested. So, Wednesday for writers. Let's see how many are in the chat. We had a Felicia early. I was here when she did that like half an hour ago. I've been busy in the background here. We had RC Scott. Hello, hello. We've got Esty Houston, who's made friends with the like button. And now whenever I think about going live early, I think, oh, but then Shannon's going to be late and not like that. So she's helping train me to like stay on task, stay on target. Yeah, Stuart is here. Hello. Running to write. That's Ben Pick. Hey, Ben. Bouncing in and out as a lurker. Nice. Shannon's just laughing at me. Hey, if you have other voices in your head besides your characters' voices, that can still be helpful. All right, so I'm going to be talking about writing process, and of course, there's lots to go on about. I'm going to focus mainly on the November experience and like lessons learned, and then sort of like zoom out a little bit to give some context, reflect on differences and adaptations that I've done this year, compare the skills that I've used this November with other disciplines that I might have learned them from. So that might be helpful for any writers out there. I will be answering Q&A as usual, so feel free to get your questions in now or early if you think of something, and I'll answer them about 75% of the way through. And then I'll end with the main takeaways. I've got like 3 main takeaways on what has improved my writing process. So stay tuned for that. And then just before I start, so I don't forget, we've got a stream party tomorrow. So I've tried to hit all my different social media platforms to alert people. Basically, it's like a reaction video or like a watch party, but better than both. So as one half of the AuthorTube Writing Conference, and Shannon in the chat is the other half, of course, we are doing a watch party for some of the AWC content from earlier this year. So we've chosen MK Williams' self-narrate and produce your own audiobook, and it's an excellent presentation. So we figured it would be great to go over it, do some reactions, interact with it, and just get people a little more excited about the AWC and applying, because we've got 9 days left. So don't get left out because you forgot. It's next Friday, and we'd love to see more applications flow in. So there we go. That link is in the chat. Let me just say hi to Self-Pub with Andy, who is going live in, I think, an hour. Awesome for a productivity sprint. JD Estrada, lurkity lurk, lurk, lurk. I added an extra. Andy, yes, pointing out I'm only 6 subscribers to 1,000. So do share if you care to be an active member and help promote. JC is here. Didn't miss the whole thing. No. You're right on time. I'm doing all my little don't forget to remind, don't forget to lay out the structure of the talk. And I think I'm all caught up. So we'll just put this up while I'm talking about my next point. My next point is cold, hard numbers. So we're going to start with Nano, and I'm going to share my screen to talk a little bit about my stats. Not this one. This one first. Okay. I couldn't make this any bigger. I did try, but that's what we get. So this is the Nano site. My cold hard facts, the numbers don't lie, which is a lie, but that's okay. Are that I got to 50,003 words, not that one, there we go. 50,003 words on the day before. Wait, you can't see my cursor. Day before, November 29th. And then I stopped. I've never done that before. I've never had a book that I finished the story of in advance of November 30th. Typically, my 8 previous wins of Nano have been, I'm almost sort of there, but I need like another 3,000, 5,000 words to sort of wind it up and feel like I actually finished it. Sometimes that happens in the first week of December. I guess normally that's what it happens, because if you put it down, you get distracted, right? But this time I ended early. So I'm tempted to say I underwrote it because I just crossed 3 words over and was like, done, pencils down. One, because it was very busy, but also because I was already going back over and editing. So in order to add words, because I hadn't hit 50,000 with the finished story, I went back and sort of did an editing pass and started going through those comments that I left myself, like breadcrumbs about find this out, iron out this wording, does this trip happen now or later, all those types of things. And so I did that till about 2/3 of the way through when I hit my goal, and I was like, done, pencils down. So that's new. That's definitely a new thing, that I finished early, that I underwrote and had time to go back and start like fiddling, right? What is not new is that until that happened, I wrote every day. So you can see I logged in. I don't have, wait, is it here? Yeah, like I don't have every badge. I know Nia would be like shaking her head at me that I don't have every badge here, but the ones I missed are update progress every day, because of course November 30th was superfluous, and achieve daily par every day. And that will come up later, and that is actually part of my strategy. So there, NaNoWriMo. But yeah, so that's that. What was different about this year. And the other thing that I could show you, let me minimize for a second, is that I did this year. I put dots in, and the colors indicate like how many words I did. So I had it wasn't a very specific system, but it was just sort of a visual reminder that like get the high counts in there when you can, because you don't know what rocky ground is going to come up, right? And so green was good and red was bad, which is your general scale, right? But I gave myself a paper sticker reminder, which was definitely more satisfying than the little graph on Nano, especially because, and here's just a little thing that gets under my skin. They at the beginning of the day, they'll show you as writing 0 words that day. They don't wait to put it in until the end of the day. They automatically zero you out. And I'm like, I didn't do 0 words. I just haven't entered it yet. But anyway, so that was new. That was the graphs. That was my planner dots. And here's the other part of the graph that I wanted to show. Make sure I'm in the right layout. Here we go. The daily amounts. So you can kind of see here, if you look at the word counts, 700, 1200, 1400, and the dips 500. That was my lowest. 2000, 2100, 2000, 2100. And then it dipped down to like 800, 800, 800, right? So you can tell that it's volatile. And again, part of my strategy, which I'll get to later, but here is the daily word count. And then of course it goes down to 0 for the 30th because they hate me. But all the way up to almost 3,000 and down to 500. So how, you say, can that be a winning strategy? So let's get down to my observations about how that worked. So what was different? It's November, right? So it's the same type of dangerous environment. You're probably going to be traveling. You're probably going to be celebrating a holiday. You're probably going to be around family. There's late year deadlines for things. Like there's all these obstacles you have to plan for. And so that was the same. And if you didn't know, if you didn't see, I actually have a vlog about oh wait, this is number 4. Yeah, I put out a vlog with the how to get around family and travel obstacles. So feel free to check that out. I did a vlog a week for Nano this year, which was new, which is an extra added content thing that I haven't done in previous years. So I'm pretty proud that I got 5 of those out on the 5 Wednesdays of the month. But yeah, so that was the same. And here's where, like, when I talk about differences and was it harder or easier than previous years, here's how I'm measuring this, right? So maybe I was less confident because I didn't try in 2022. So I'm like out of practice and I haven't published anything in a while. So like my new writing, it feels kind of shaky. But maybe I was more confident because I've won 8 times and it's like old hat now. And like, it's just a matter of nose to the grindstone. And maybe the other thing that influences that I cared less. And so I wasn't so doom and gloom about, am I going to win? Am I going to win? And thinking like it was all or nothing. I cared less because I've been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff and my self-worth is not invested in how many words I get down in a certain amount of time, right? So like at my venerable age of 42 at this point, I can separate that and not get so stressed. And I think that helps the even cadence. I know the word count was volatile. Stay with me though. Helps just the continuation of the progress throughout the month, right? So if you add those up, like it was better, it was worse, it was better. Like I think it comes up on the whole to be easier than before. And so that's maybe why I finished a day early. So, and I'd love to hear anyone else's, and I should stop there before I go to the next section, anyone else's comments on if they felt it was harder or easier than previous Nano attempts. So let's check in again. Let's see. So, okay, so I think I left off with Shannon's comment. I was at 8 more to go yesterday when you visited the channel for MK's stream tomorrow. And at that rate, 4 more days to hit 1K. I don't know. I will tell you guys, I'm pretty excited about this. You can tell that my the advent calendar is a chocolate thing. The Christmas decoration that I got as a hand-me-down from my sister who didn't want it anymore that says how many days till Christmas, and it's got a little star that you put on magnets to count down. Yeah, that's been repurposed to how many more subscribers to 1K. So it was on 8, and then this morning it skipped over to 6. We're 6 away. I love it. I love it. Dun, 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 dun. It's 1 p.m. Do I have this wrong? I will check. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, so it should be starting at 12 noon Eastern, the stream party. But maybe I should check my math because time zones are goonierific, aren't they? Yeah. Yes. Catching up with Ben's channel. Oh, it is. Okay, he's on Puerto Rico time. I forgot. Okay, 1 p.m. What's the abbreviation for Puerto Rico's time? What is the global label for that? I don't know. Oh, those freaking time zones. I know. Curse the cursor. Also, you were doing how many readathons? 2 mainly, nonfiction and indigenous, I believe, November. Oh boy. Okay. So JD says I'm deep in those edits. Yeah. Yeah. Quadruple E and triple P deep. Shannon says nope, not me. Fiddling or editing, Shannon? Yeah. Oh, this is when I said pencils down. Okay, elementary school. Yeah. That's just how I felt about Nano this year. I don't know. I wasn't as invested, which made it less not subjective, made it less personal in a bad way. Yeah. Shannon says, still adding. I got to 75,500 at the end of the month. And that was your goal, which I just recently listened to in your latest self-publishing tips and tricks, which was great. That's about half of my book. Hey, one person's novel is another person's half a novel. It's okay. Yay! JC just shared on Twitter. Thank you so much, JC. I love it. You guys are great. JD says, no worries. I'm at 90K, almost to 91. We'll see how long it truly ends up being. And I think this is the third installment of Only Human, I think. Yay. JC was sharing on the other tab. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Eloise Farr is here. Hello. Saying, I love me a graph. The graph time is over, unfortunately. Yes. So yeah, tabs, nice word counts, the vlog. Okay, so now we're talking about nano, maybe volatility. JD says my main crux has always been work, right? Something you're not in control of is hard to plan for. The family and travel tips that I gave might help a little bit, but again, like there's only so much you can do to sort of pad some things and leave space in other areas when you're not controlling it. So totally understandable. I worked every day on the novel, but not pushing crazy word count. Yeah. For me, and I'll say this later, but just here as well to agree with you, every little bit helps. Every little bit counts, right? Gets you to harder, further, farther, further towards the goal. And that's what we want. Yeah, hard to work around expletive work hours. And JD says, my other challenge is that when I write, it's by hand before I transcribe. You need one of those, not Evernote, that's the app. What's the thing that Sam Wicker uses? Nope, not coming to me. Someone will know in the chat. But yeah, those things that like take your handwriting. Although JD, how is your handwriting? It might have a steep learning curve. Oh, figuring out word count. Yeah, that's a mess. Oh, JC says, I hope you do more vlogs in the new year, Margaret. I really enjoyed them. Well, I have already promised to vlog the trip. So when I hit 1K, I'm taking a trip and I'm going across the Atlantic and I will vlog it. So stay tuned for that. JD says, I did Nano Estrada, meaning I set my own metrics, just needed to stay active, which I have. So to quote Charlie Sheen, winning. I don't know if I quoted that right, but yeah. Shannon says, I feel that with the self-worth not being tied to word count. I set goals for myself like that, but if I don't make them, I know it's not for lack of trying. Yes, that is a great, great point. Anita says, I find that assuming I'll lose helps me win. This Nano was crazy with 4 whip first drafts. Finished. Wow. Yeah, I remember you talking about, oh, I'm doing this one and then switching to this one. And like you had multiple pans in the fire, which is amazing. The 2 or 3 times that I've tried to do short stories for Nano, it has not worked for me. It's not focused enough to keep me going evenly like this does. So yeah, kudos to AF Stewart. Interesting strategy. Yeah, got it right. Oh, it's called AST, Atlantic Standard Time. Never changes time. Oh. Okay. Well, that is a new time zone I hadn't heard of, which I may need to know in the future. So thank you. Human Cycle, everyone calls it the Only Human series. I think I should change it at this point. It's Beyond Human. Oh, Beyond Human. I thought it was something with a B, and then I was like, "No, I think I remember Only Human." Yeah, yeah. Well, no one calls my series Remnants, so I feel ya. I cave to the group pressure. Human Cycle isn't a sticky title. There's magic with pen to paper. That is true. I've seen what you're talking about. Yeah, the notebooks that can read your handwriting and load it. My handwriting is a garbled pile of chicken scratching. All right, all right. JD has suggested is that I play Powerball so I can do the PR trip. It's a possibility. Indiana Jones has nothing on the amount of whips Anita has. That's funny. That's good. Anita says, so true. 4 down and like 6 left. Plus, I started 2 more books in November. Oh my gosh. Whew. I never heard of that before. Learn something new every day. Atlantic Standard. There you go. Okay, so we've got book 1, Only Human. Book 2, Shadow of a Human. Forgotten Middle Child. Book 3, Beyond Human. Okay, there we go. Now we got it all straightened out. Okay, awesome. And if you have questions as we continue, just put a Q at the beginning. That'll help me find where I am in the chat to be able to answer them. But I'm moving on to the next section is about motivation changes. So sometimes our writing process changes because our motivation changes. And for me, I had 2 very specific things. Like I said, in the sort of writing process in general, it was different because I felt since like 2018, 19, like sort of a seaweed in the waves. Like nothing I have written has really gone anywhere. It's been pretty frustrating. And so I was looking forward to this Nano to really sort of crunch down on focused writing time. So it was like the right thing at the right moment because I was just getting a little bit of momentum from what I was reading. If you'll recall, this momentum started back in March when I was reading all these Irish history books for the Irish Readathon, including books about the potato famine, including books about Irish immigrants. And then I started collecting articles that were about Irish history in Scotland and how the Irish and the Scots were interacting, and the political history and the social history of that, because it's fascinating. It's kind of like when the Stockholm syndrome, like when you're in an empire and the colonizer gets you to think like them. So you're stepping on people who are just below you on the rung because you have the hope of making it up a rung in the empire's social system. And so I was really getting into like very academic papers, details and stuff like that. And so it built up. And then finally, right before, I think the end of October is when I was reading The Black Ghost of Empire, which is a history book about the empires of Britain and America and France and Spain, and about how they dismantled slavery and how it was a long half-life of a dismantling and really not completely finished. And so all of this stuff is happening in the 1840s, and I was like, oh, this is all coming together. I don't know how I'm going to fit it together. But having that focus time from Nano as a perfect opportunity was really helpful and was motivating for me. It's just a confluence of fate, of time, whatever. And the other thing is that I decided to recover my series, Remnants, previously mentioned. And I've had issues with the Scrivener license and being on old computers and not being able to retrieve it to switch it to the new computer, this one. And I needed a new Scrivener license. That would solve the problem. And you know what you get as a winner on Nano? 50% off Scrivener. So the price is obviously more than 10 years ago when I bought it last. But I was like, you know what? $30 for 10 years worth of word processing? I'm good. That has served its contract out. So I'm very happy to have the new Scrivener license, the new Scrivener version, which is Scrivener 3. I was on Scrivener 2, so I'll have a little catch up to do. And yeah, so those were my 2 motivators, like having momentum this year after like 4 years of nothing and needing that license and knowing I could just like bang it out. So very exciting. We had a Brian come in. Hello, hello, welcome. We've got a potato fan, and this is even funnier if you look at my Instagram stories that I did just before I went live. There's a Jane Austen joke in there, which hopefully people will get. It's not a Lord of the Rings reference, it's a Jane Austen reference, but they're both lovely potato references. So please, my two fandoms of friends, please coexist peacefully. Yeah. No, 30. So when I bought it the first time, it was $20. So I've gotten 10 years for $20. Lifetime license, yes. And the next one, Scrivener 3, I got for $30 this time. So let's hope another 10 years, right? Another 10 years of writing. So that was the motivational changes. And feel free, again, to chime in whether you had specific motivations in the comments this year. We'll see. And then comparing this writing process and the skills I used to accomplish it with other disciplines that have those skills. So, and here I'm going to reference Kat Loyacano, Kat's channel. And of course, now I'm forgetting Bookish channel. She's a booktuber, and I had her on the channel for a fireside chat, and we did improv. And it struck me in video making and filmmaking and improv, one of the things that you do when you're creating a product is, like, especially filmmaking, there's this meme that says, well, we'll get it in post, right? Which means just keep going, just finish the shot, right? We'll get it in editing post-production, meaning like it's very expensive to have actors and equipment and rentals and all that stuff. So just finish what we have in the time we have, and then we'll leave it to the editors, the people snipping the film, the people like coloring in the colors or special effects or whatever. They can take care of it. And of course, that often leads to like those editors getting overloaded with stuffing. Like we that doesn't work. But it's a funny meme. And I just sort of embraced that this time, right? So there were times in my narrative where I thought, well, what if I did this? I don't know. Should I do this or this? And I couldn't decide, but I had that time to write, and I needed to write in that container of time. So I just went with the first one, and it's like, okay, put a note down. I chose this one out of these two options. Come back here if I need to redo, but I'm just going to keep going. And I sort of like put a flag in it and then kept going from there, so that I know where the river bends if I go back and want to change it. So that was something helpful from improv or video making here on YouTube that I took back into my writing process, because I don't think I've been so loose, so easy to go with. Normally I will agonize over decisions. Who, me? Yes, that's me. But I think that was an improvement this time. So if you can take skills from other disciplines or work that you do and sort of think, okay, well, would this help the writing process? Maybe you've got something there that you can build on. Right, so that you're not wasting time and the opportunity. Just keep going. And then the last thing, like, I was just going to compare this to the last work that I put out, which is Fabled Passages, which came out in November of 2022. And that writing process, so it was more of a publishing process than a writing process, it feels like to me, even, because they were 10 or 12 stories that I had built up over 10 years. Some were very old, some were much newer. Some were done during Camp Nano in April in 2022. Some were, again, 9 or 10 years old. So what I was doing was trying to jumpstart my productivity, my output, by just getting something out the door, right? I'd never done short stories before. I'd never published short stories. I'd never submitted. I've submitted one short story, right? And so I thought, jumpstart this machine again. So I remember how to do the publishing. Okay, so ebook and formatting and choosing and how do I order them and this kind of stuff. Doing promotions, like Shannon, St. Houston, queen of slotting, stacking, experimenting with promotions for her books. And so that was definitely a inspiration inspiration for me. So I did a few of those, tried new things like I used to, and just sort of got in the spirit again. And I think that was useful in like getting my writing brain going, even though it was more publishing focused. So I'm pretty happy about that. Like the malaise that may have started in 2018, 2019, sort of cleared 2022, 2023. And I think we're on an upswing. That's good. That's good, right? So that is where we are now. And my WIP, my not writing in progress, my work in progress, as some of you may know, is the 1840s historical fantasy, because I've started dropping speculative fiction elements into my historical fiction, and I like it, and I like the audience that's there, and I like the other authors that are there because they're so different. Again, it's more of like so many people doing so many different things that I feel very welcomed, and like there's room for me, and I don't have to conform to a very specific formula. So yeah, so that's what I have, and I did stop it at 50,003 words, and I haven't gone back to it after a week. So that is still on the planner to do, but I've got a few other priorities before I go back to it. So we'll see. And now we're on to the main takeaways. So I've got 3 of those. And let me just check the chat. Oh boy. Hey, it's potatoes. All the love for them. Yeah, I had hash browns for lunch. They were so crispy. They were like potato chips. It was perfect. Eloise agrees. Whatever fandom that loves potatoes is a friend of mine. I love it. Yes. We should all get potatoes, Eloise. Yes. Oh, and on this note, speaking of snacky snacks, I have a poll up on my community tab that is, what is your favorite movie matinee snack for that stream party tomorrow? So if you're coming to the stream party, feel free to bring your favorite movie snack. I might just be inspired to go get Reese's Pieces because I have not had those in decades. I think I tried them once as a teenager and was like, whoa, Reese's peanut butter cups are so much better. But they're winning in the poll. So I'm like, all right, maybe I should give them a second chance. Shannon says, I want a free course for Scrivener, value $247. I'm never going to use. I should pass it on to you. You're never going to use. Well, you definitely utilize other programs that are free to like the highest extent. So yeah, you may not have a use for it. Oh, that's a bummer. Nope. Let me just look it up. I don't know why I'm blanking on it now. It's because the pressure's on. Cat's Novel Adventures. There we go. That's what it is. Yeah, we did improv on the fireside chat where she joined me, and it was super fun. So she's from Louisiana, and yeah, she's in a bit of a low place. So if you want to go by and say hi and just send some love her way, that would be nice. Cat's Novel Adventures. JD asks, has Scrivener made formatting simpler or same? I don't know. I haven't dived into it yet. I opened it up. I imported the Word doc version of the keying to fix up some of the front and back matter before I put it into draft to digital for the new cover. And the I haven't done it yet. I'm still in the like tabs are open, and I'm working on the I can't do Word because I don't have a version of Word on my new computer. Educator discount not available. So I think I might have to do that in Scrivener, but I haven't started yet. It's like a little step by little step, JD. Yeah. Cat's Novel Adventures. JD works in advertising. Very familiar with that phrase. We'll get it in post. Still waiting on that paperback for Fabled Passages. I know. But like I said, I have written out. So the purple is what I'm saying today, and the pink is what I'm adding for the newsletter. I've worked out the extra in-depth look, at my writing progress. And the piece about fabled passages is actually a strength because, like I said, I needed something to get me back into writing, and just getting fabled passages out as an ebook and accepting that was what I needed to do at the time. So I'm excited to start using draft to digital print in combination with KDP, of course, and moving forward with that as soon as, I don't know, probably as soon as you go on vacation, Shannon, because then we won't have AWC stuff to do for a bit. Judy says, I could hear you clicking your tongue and tapping your feet. Yeah, you paperback folks. I love you. I'll get to it. JD says, if I had 2% of Shannon's discipline, I'd get so much done. This is true. This is true. Yeah, JC was in the ballpark. It had novel in the title. I couldn't remember it either. I know. Hey, RC is swinging back in. Saw that on Kat's channel. Very sad. Yeah, she lost one of her best friends to an aggressive cancer recently, so she's been posting just like memories to celebrate her life, which is good. Which is a good thing to do in a community. But yeah. So, takeaways. No, not your fish and chips. Other takeaways, meaning like lessons learned. So the first one is, I think what's really helpful in Nano or in any sort of drafting process, especially one that's going to be like time dependent, is to visualize the race. And anyone who is an athlete will understand me when I say this, as in be prepared both mentally and equip mentally. That's my pun. I thought that was pretty great when I wrote it down. So like, if you're a race car driver, you can do test runs where you like lean into the turn and like pretend like a video game, basically. Like you're practicing the rhythm of the race and making mental notes about things to look out for on your way. And so what I did was basically like, okay, I'm going to be on the train this day. I need to make sure I have a charger and I have headphones. Oh my God. And I have the notes, although I couldn't bring this little number on me with me on the train. So what I did was take pictures. So I had to put that on my list of things to do. Take a photo on my phone of each of the outline notes that I have that I'm not taking with me. Like pre-game, right? And this is why I think I'm not actually pantsing. I don't know how the book ends, but like I'm envisioning the writing container throughout the month, and that is what's helping. That is what's helping me be prepared. So visualize the race is my first main takeaway. The second one is what I mentioned earlier. Every little bit helps. So in terms of not getting that like, oh my God, it's day 3 and I only have 500 words, I'm not going to win. Leave that in the dustbin. Every little bit helps. So on the day when I got 500 words, it was a travel day. It was a mad dash, doing errands. I don't know what it was, but those days when I got a lower word count, I was like, that's okay. I can get back to a few words with 2,000 words a day, sometime next week. Like for me, it doesn't work to say Monday the 17th or whatever it was. As soon as I pin a certain goal or expectation onto a certain time, my mind wants to rebel. So I have to sort of keep this middle ground of like, we can do this then. It's fine. Don't panic. Just keep going forward. Get as many as you can. Do another 15 minutes, right? And so I resurrected Tiffany's Notion word tracker. So TL Russ Lifestyle, Tiffany Russell channel. She has a great word tracker template on Notion and in her many Notion templates. That was really useful for me logging in to put in this many words. And I tracked, if I was doing a sprint, who was hosting the sprint. So like I could tip my cap to the people who helped me get through all those words. But the large majority was just me doing it on my own this November because of my schedule, and I just needed to concentrate without noise and chatting as a temptation. When you treat it this way, like every little bit counts and you're not getting down on yourself for low word counts, you're doing a favor to future you, right? Because 500 words is better than nothing and you're that much closer. So when you are in that go gangbusters move, like it doesn't take as much effort to get to your goal. And that's just basically don't get discouraged. Any little bit you can do helps you toward that goal. And then the final takeaway, number 3. So as I've mentioned before, I tend to, or I am prone to decision paralysis. And for this time, keeping the notes and documenting it, like I'm a computer programmer with, things on the side, is really helpful for editing me in the future, because writing me wants to know what's happening, where are we diverging, and you don't need to know at that point. You just need to get the words down so that you have something to evaluate at the end. And so having notes on the side that says, okay, in this section, I made her go from Yorkshire to London to Suffolk. And in the next section, it worked better if she went to London, then Suffolk, then Yorkshire. So sort it out later. Like, it's those stupid things where you're like, it's only going to change one scene. I just don't know which way I want it. So just continue. And letting go of that was really useful. So for the decision paralysis among you, like me, make sure you keep your notes, your documentation handy, and just say what you did. Then you'll be able to track it afterwards and fix it as necessary. So that got me through. That got me through to an ending for my book, which I haven't gotten in so long, which was great. So, what do we have? Yeah, JC has it in ebook, but prefers the paperback or hardcover. So does Shannon. I know. Deidre is here. Deidre Ann Anderson. Lovely to see you. And just Eva. Missed the start. It's all good. I'm almost to the wrapping up point here. JD says, editing me will get his own mention in the acknowledgement section. That is true facts, right? Everyone should credit themselves with an editing cap because it's a completely different skill. I get it. Anita says, I feel you. Figuring out the directions and places is killer. Yeah. And if you're in the drafting stage where you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen, that is not the point to quibble over that stuff, because it will derail your creative brain trying to bog you down in details, at least for me. Yay for endings for our books. We're here. Yay for ending the book, says Deidre as well. Yeah. So, basically, my final thing here is that this process, progress. The progress that I made this November has really reaffirmed my purpose in writing, and that's a good feeling. Because I was taking all of this sort of consuming and processing that I was doing, which, with my Clifton strengths, whatever, I'm a big gathering intelligence, processing, brooding over information before I act type of person. And this sort of enabled me, because of the timing, to like internalize all that, get all my research out, combine it in a few different ways, like, do I do this? Do I do that? Narrow it down, and finally jump into Nano with a clear purpose. Because I think when I was sort of flailing in the last few years, it was like, what? What am I writing for? And sharing real issues so people can relate to history and humanity is sort of my idea at this point. We'll see if that gets further picked apart, but I'm feeling real good about it. And so the place that I'm in now for writing progress is really good. I've got good people around me, all you guys in the chat, and yes. So if you're curious about more in-depth writing progress as relates to my whole career, that will be in the newsletter. So check out the pinned comment in the live chat or in the description below to sign up for the newsletter. I'll be sending it out in 11 days. No, 7 days? Something like that. I'll be putting that out in a little bit. So that is not the tweet, the stream. Starred comment, Eloise. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, you're demonstrating comprehension. Definitely like Snoop Dogg. Yeah, the processing is in Shannon's top 5 Clifton strengths as well. Bless me. Blessed me. I used to sneeze in almost every stream. I don't know. It's kind of gone out of fashion, but apparently it had to come back. If you see me do something, I've probably been thinking about it for many months or even a year or 2. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, especially if you're trying to be the type of author that is turning stuff out in a fast way, a fast release or whatever that's called. Yes, Gesundheit. Arfignugan? I don't know what that stands for. I just associate it with Dana Carvey. I don't know. I don't know, JD. Geriatric millennial problems. What can I say? JC says, I'm pretty sure I subscribed already, but let me just sign up again. Doesn't hurt, right? It's my signature thing. Well, I don't know about that. I've tried to work on some other signature things, but I'll take it if people remember, right? So that is it today. You got 3 main takeaways. You've got what's making me feel good about my writing these days. You've got the cold, hard facts of the numbers and a few tips sprinkled throughout about things that might help you. So if you had questions about any of that and you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. And finally, I am 6 subscribers away. So if this is helpful at all, I would encourage you to share today's video with a friend who you think also might find it helpful. Perhaps they're writing, perhaps they're gearing up for another nano effort. Maybe this is like April 2024. It's still useful stuff, right? We're all in community together trying to help each other over the finish line, or at least I hope so. So that's all for us today. And I could just keep going with the chat here because you're all so lovely. Oh, Farfignugan means driving pleasure, especially with regard to Volkswagen vehicles. Why did I associate that with Dana Carvey and that that stoner movie series? I don't know. Yeah, JC's got it. The queen of books you've never heard of. Yes. He just says, congrats on all you accomplished in November. Here's to a great December and 2024. Yes. Oh, time zones, definitions. JD is just like dropping the knowledge on us today. Thank you, JC. Yay. 6 to go. So exciting. Yes. Love the community. Big cheers. Yeah, Wayne's World. That's what I was thinking of, obviously. Don't they say Farfignugan in that? Why else would I know that word? Wait, what? Okay, we're getting off track. So I will just leave you delightful people to do whatever else moves you today. Take care. Keep writing. Keep yourself hydrated. And be safe out there, everybody. Bye.